and welcome to Sharpening Her Edge. I'm Dr. Susan Hughes, and I'm so excited to introduce you to one of my favorite people and guests. So, Sharpening Her Edge is the podcast for high achieving women navigating leadership, reinvention, and the invisible demands of doing it all. And today we're diving into things that I know are going to resonate with you. And I'm so happy to introduce you to my dear friend, Natalie McQueen. So let me just tell you a little bit about who the heck she is and why she's here with me. Natalie is a publishing strategist, the founder of Ink to Impact Publishing, where she helps professionals turn their expertise into powerful market positioned books that build authority, credibility, and revenue. Known for her no fluff, results driven approach, Natalie specializes in guiding corporate leaders and entrepreneurs from co author to solo author, creating books that don't just sit on the shelves, but open doors to new opportunities, visibility, and business growth. She believes a book is not the end goal, it's the beginning of an ecosystem that elevates your voice and positions you as a leader in your industry. And I personally have had the joy in working with Natalie on three different books where I was co author. And someday we'll get my own solo book, but
Yes,
we're
we will.
working on that. We're working on that. So, Natalie, welcome.
Thank you. This is so exciting. I am thrilled to be here and ready to get rolling.
Fabulous, fabulous. So, a lot of people, when they're little, know what they want to do when they grow up. I didn't even know what a book publisher was when I was way back
Me
when.
neither.
Tell me about your journey to become the amazing woman you are today.
No, thank you. Well, it was kind of an accidental path, but now I understand so clearly, being someone that sees the bigger picture of things, why it had to be this way. And so, yeah, it could be. I was in, first of all, in my first career in kind of the dental world and teeth cleaning and all of that, and then kind of made a shift for business and marketing, and I did like that, but I couldn't see just spending all day, you know, trying to do ads and stuff for that wasn't my thing. And then I fell in love with personal development and ways that you could share your story and affect or impact other people's lives. And that's when, I never personally thought, oh, I need to have a book. But what I did see is if you have a message, how do you get it out there that it can stay there forever and continue to make that impact long after you're gone?
Mhm.
And fast forward, I had a near death experience in 2016. And I think with all the things I was working on and seeing ways that I could help authors really shift and get their message out there more than, oh, I have a book. And it's a book and it's a brand, and it's literally the book is step one. It's not the finished, I'm done, I did it. And I think having that near death experience, it really opened my eyes to like, wait, where am I going to be really thrilled with what I'm doing? Or where am I going to look and go, I'm 80 now, and I said I was going to do that one day? Or, what legacy am I really leaving here? And so I really shifted my perspective into legacy and getting people to think about, you know, what legacy do you want to be remembered for? And maybe it's not a book. Maybe it's, a talk on stage. Maybe it's working in your community at a community project or running for council or, there's so many ways that we can make an impact. But are you on that right path and doing those steps towards it? And so I saw over the years that many authors worked so hard, got their books published, and then sat back and just said, okay, I'm ready. And now what? And a lot of times that now what didn't happen because the authors tended not to know that that is the first step. And now you need to think about what is your whole author ecosystem? How does that fit into your book, fit into your message, fit into your superpower? And how do you get that out to the world? And it's just over time expanded more and more. And I've had some really good experiences working with people that are making a huge impact in the world and want to, from all different levels, from corporate to the person that says, I have an idea. How can you help me get this out? So it's been such a learning journey, but such a powerful one. And I think what we've put together with our team has just really got the ability to take someone from the very first step to blowing you out whichever way you want. Not everyone wants to
Exactly.
be on stage, right?
But giving them that opportunity. So,
Absolutely.
are you comfortable just briefly sharing? I know you mentioned it a couple times, that near death experience. That was right around the time that I got to know you. Are you comfortable sharing that? If not, that's okay. We'll edit out that. I'm just wanting.
Sure.
It
So,
was incredible.
yeah. Um, I think the biggest thing is when you're in a situation, and mine happened to be underwater under a cliff, and not knowing, where your next breath was coming from. And I ended up fighting for over an hour to get out of that situation. And there were a few times I didn't think I was going to. And just, having that lack of oxygen and being able to say, is this it? And I think that's where you I can't say at that time I sat back with regrets, but the next couple of weeks was like, wow, if I hadn't made it, what would the impacts of little things like not writing down all your passwords for your family to have, not telling them where everything is, not, you know, the automated things that come off our, as businesses, come out of our accounts month after month. And your family has no idea what Canva is, and why you're paying
Exactly.
for it and on what card it's going out. So it was so many things that I thought, if I hadn't have thought of these things and shared my message to others, like, you know, you need to have a plan. And hopefully you've got that plan in an organized way. So if something happens to you, then you're not stressing your family out. And so that's where I really geared a lot of things around, your legacy message and getting things together. And one of my mottos is, if you don't create the legacy, you're going to end up stressing your family out. So, you know, don't leave um, don't leave things undone. And you want your family to sit back and it's going to be a difficult time anyway. So why not have them go, wow, everything was taken care of, and we get to remember the good things and not like, oh my gosh, we can't even figure this out. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
don't create a mess, create a legacy.
Yeah. And I think you've carried that forward so beautifully with your business, with a legacy, um, with your grandma. I love the stories
Mm.
about your grandma. Um,
Yeah.
she, what was it, 105 or something? How old was she?
106. She passed a couple days before Christmas this year at
I'm so
106.
sorry.
And yeah, she was incredible. She was one of the ones that made me realize that we all have superpowers, and it doesn't matter how much education or how
Hmm.
you go about it. It's like how you impact, how you make that legacy in the world. And I remember at her 100th birthday that I was kind of looking around, and a bunch of my cousins, we had a big family. She had 8 children. So I had 8 aunts and uncles, or 8 different aunts and uncles. And then I think there was 32 or 34 first cousins. And so we were standing around, and one of my cousins said, oh, well, you know that I was grandma's favorite. And my other cousin said, are you kidding me? I was grandma's favorite. And in my head, I was like, I thought I was grandma's favorite. But when she was with you, she was so like, you were number one. My focus is on you. And she made everyone feel like they mattered, and that she did. She did care. You know, that relationship and that, those times together, that was the ultimate. That was her superpower.
Mhm. I loved hearing all the stories about her. Right,
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry she's no longer with us physically, but oh my gosh, you embody and carry her forward.
Oh,
Um,
thanks.
did you're welcome. Didn't you do a book with her as part of the legacy?
Yeah, so um, I could grab it, but she has a book that we did at for her 100th birthday, and that was
Mhm,
um, it was kind of a compilation book of for the family. All the children, her children, wrote stories, and then the spouses, and then the grandchildren. And so at the end of the book, we recorded her, put that QR code, so we have her words forever. And then all her friends and church friends and everything wrote well wishes. So it's like a legacy book, and just incredible how she touched so many lives. And then I had done, as you can see behind me, I have a line of journals, and my
mhm,
journals, um, I had sent her a bunch to share with some of her friends. And she called me about a month later, and she said, okay, I want to write my own book. And I've handwritten 96 pages in my journal. And so it's time to publish. And I said, well, Grandma, you're 103 and a half. We better get that at this. So thank goodness my parents were 5 hours away, drove and took pictures of every page of that handwritten journal. And then we put it together. And so that's just a book for our family. But it's just, it's something, it's her words and her view of life. And it's just, yeah, it's wonderful to have that.
what a gift.
Yeah.
What an absolute treasure. Um, so shifting gears for a moment, what is one bold belief you hold about women in leadership? I've got
Yeah.
your answer here. I just wanted to hear your thought.
Okay. Well, I think the biggest thing is there's so many amazing women out there, and we tend to look at everyone and say, oh, I want a little bit of her. I want to be like this and that. And I believe you don't need to become anyone else but you to lead. We all have um, what we need inside, and we need to trust ourselves that we are enough, and what we have, experienced in life,
Hmm.
we can, um, use that and really show other women how to move and how to be a leader. We are leaders um, in our own, the way we modeled, the way that we can teach. We have proven, areas of expertise, and we don't need to perform. We don't need to try to be like someone else. And what I've seen is that women lead the best from clarity, conviction, and who they truly are, just the way they are, and let go of the energy that they must be like someone else to really make that impact. So we don't need permission um, to lead how we are, and we need to stop really second guessing our superpowers and just be who we are.
That is awesome. I love that. We don't need permission to be who we are. Sounds like a title of a podcast. Um, so I gave you a couple topics. One was power, one was reinvention, one was identity.
Mm,
What, um, can you talk about that a little bit? You can choose whatever one you want.
sure. Well, I mean, reinvention kind of ties right into that, right? So when we kind of look at who you want to become, sometimes we are doing that self comparison and stuff. But on
Hmm.
the other hand, what if we could be open to being our best selves, as taking what our superpowers are and then looking at our wisdom, our stories, our messages, and, you know, everything that we can tie together and then create that person that you can go out and just be yourself. But here's a perfect example. So when I speak on stage, like if I'm in a room with like 10 or 15 people doing a workshop, I am owning that room. I do not get nervous. I'm so excited to meet each and every person. But then you put me on a stage of 200 people and my knees are shaking and I get all nervous. So I kind of go into my head and say, I'm going to think about and reinvent the person that is nervous to speak to these people, because I know my message is impactful. I know that I have done talks and looked across the room and seen someone tearing up. I know that I have taken someone from an idea for a book and brought it all the way through to international bestseller and beyond, and got them on stages. So I know what I have to say is worth it. But whatever it is, that identity that is in there, that little unsure, you can think about that and say, I'm going to step into that woman that goes onto the stage and looks into the crowd and can give that legacy talk that you're proud of and that can move the needle for somebody else listening. And you step into that person that you you wish you were right now, but sometimes you need that little bit of um, getting out of yourself and
Hmm.
stepping into what you want to be. And there's nothing wrong with continually doing that until one day all of a sudden you're like, oh, there's 150 people there, no problem. I don't even get nervous anymore. I used to. And it's that little, uh, people say, fake it till you make it, kind of, but we know that we have the majority of the stuff that we need. And now this is just a little mindset shift to who are you really being? We know who we are. And what if you could step into that person that you want to be and have that as kind of your anchor to be able to do something that maybe you're not 100% comfortable with?
Exactly. That comfort zone. We we
Right.
don't we don't grow in that comfort zone.
Hmm.
We grow at those frayed edges where we're like, "Oh, this is not comfortable." I And that's where the magic and the impact happens.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what season are you in? Scaling, reinvention, recovery, or expansion?
Mm. We're definitely in scaling. Right now, I have had the benefit of bringing in some really strong marketers, and expanding our team for ghost writers. There's so many companies out there that say, "Oh, come join us for the weekend and write your all-time story." And when you talk to those people, because we often get those going, "Oh, I wish I would have thought of that after." When you don't plan out your book properly, there's going to be those like I should have's, and what was the purpose of that story? Like, when you plan it out, you can literally dictate your book when you've got that strong outline. And so I'm not saying that you can't get some great pointers of going and doing a weekend retreat, but to try to do it from, concept to published in a weekend, I have a feeling that you'll end up wanting to make some changes. And we've seen that in so many of the programs that just um, they put too much pressure on people in such a short time to make decisions that you want to carry your message, forward and just be able to work together solidly. And that's where, if you don't have a good editing team or developmental editor that can look at your ideas and say, "Hey, you know what? I love your message, but all you're doing is teaching, driving, driving, driving. No one wants to be told. How about sharing some of your life experiences?" And people sitting back and going, "Oh, yeah, I relate to that," instead of just, "You should do this," and that type of thing.
Exactly.
So it's really important to have a very strong outline and then work along with a developmental editor or a ghostwriter, or a partial ghostwriter. Sometimes the best messages are with people that don't have strong skills in writing, and that is completely okay, because
Very cool.
we can take it from here and here to something that can impact people. And if you think that all um, the people out there that are on stages wrote their own books and are fantastic writers, most of them are ghost written or partially ghost written. And there's nothing wrong with that. It makes a stronger message that will live and have that impact much longer when it's done right and easy to read and relatable.
Absolutely.
The other
And
piece is,
mhm,
oh, I
go
was
ahead.
just going to say our marketing, the after branding and marketing. Um, you sometimes see people and they're a complete mess. And you're like, if someone's going to look you up, how are you showing up? And that's super important. So just getting
Absolutely.
you looked at the expert or looked as the expert in your field, and then having that consistent branding across the board, so important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, so I know people listening to this are going to be like, how do we reach you? I'll put your contact info in the description, but if one of the listeners is like, I've got a story, I've got a message, what's the best way to track you down?
Yeah, I would say either by the website or my LinkedIn.
Okay.
That would be the
And
best.
fabulous. And we will share that in the description as well. Um,
Perfect.
Time machine question. Ooh, time machine. Um, what would you tell your past self, knowing the wisdom that you
Mm,
have now? What would you tell your past self?
yeah. Oh, so many messages, right?
Hmm.
I would say probably the strongest message is that um, maybe know that you are worthy the way you are and that you don't need to have every box checked or that comparison. Let that go and take your superpower and run with it. Stop doing the self comparisons and the everything has to be perfect till I get it out there, you know?
Hmm.
And it's okay. It's okay. Here's a huge one. I I would always, or never want people to see that everything wasn't perfect. And it's like, guess what? When you say, "Oh my gosh, I screwed up there. Let's make this right," or "Let's do you have advice for me to make it better?" People relate to you and see you as human. Can you imagine?
Human?
I know you talk about a lot of that, right? It's
Exactly.
okay.
Taking that imperfect next step.
Yeah, I love
Life is
that.
messy. We're messy. It's just believing in yourself enough. So, you brought up the phrase superpower a few times. What's your superpower? I have an idea what it is, but what do you see as your superpower?
Yeah. This is a big one with me because I have this vision that I will be standing on stage and I will have a power cape on and I'm going to turn around with my word and my word's all in bling on my cape. So I've got the vision. But I think my superpower is giving the assurance that the person with that, gosh, I've never really thought of writing a book. I have this idea. I hope I could do it. I give that person the confidence that they can and the expectations that if you follow our step by step, easy system, you will not be stressed. You will know exactly how we're working alongside you and how we take you through the essential steps, and we make it very easy for you. So we give them that um, the assurance that you can, and we're there as partners along the way. We don't treat you as just a number, and we want you to win as much as you want, you to win. So it's just, and everyone has a message that's important. I think that's such an important thing for people to realize that, because sometimes people will say, well, I don't have like a near death experience or this or that or whatever. Well, I was publishing before I did that. I didn't really
Hmm.
choose to do that. you
No.
know, did it do some shifting and make things very clear for me? Absolutely. But guess what? We have all had our own paths, our own journeys, our mentors that have come into our lives. Sometimes it's a parent, sometimes it's a best friend, sometimes it's a school teacher that kicked you in the butt and got you back on the straight path that completely changed your life. And those are the things that you can look at and talk about and learn from and share with others that are on that same journey as you were.
Fabulous, fabulous. You've shared so much wisdom in a short period of time. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you. I
thank
just love
you.
all this. Um, I think you brought up so many things that are important reminders, especially for women that are carrying so much while showing up at that higher and even highest level. I appreciate you. And thank you for having this conversation with me and for all the work you're doing in amplifying voices
Mm.
and creating a safe space for them to do that. And for everybody listening, please remember you're not behind. You're navigating a lot. Keep going and keep sharpening your edge. Thank you for listening to Sharpening Her Edge. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment if you're inspired, share with your friends, and check out Natalie McQueen on LinkedIn is one great place. I'll share her contact info in the description because I know people listening to this have a story that is worthy of being shared.
Mm.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Natalie. Thank you. I appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you. This is wonderful.
Fabulous.